going on, people? It's your boy Ricardo, and this will be the first episode of my brand new series called Chasing Monsters, the Syndicate. Now, things have been a little bit quiet on the Chasing Monsters main series front, and that really is because I joined this syndicate a couple of months ago and I really wanted to get stuck into it. Thank God I did as well, because it has been absolutely mega. Over the course of this episode, I'm going to explain to you some of the things that I've been up to over here since I joined, some of the carp that I've caught, some of the people that I've met along the way as well, and yeah, just a new spin to the Chasing Monsters series. I hope you guys enjoy it. This is my first syndicate that I've ever been part of. Back in the day when I was a little bit younger and a bit better looking, I was part of a club water in Essex where I fished a lot of weekends with one of my friends. Things obviously changed as I got older. I think it was about 17, 18 where the party lifestyle come into my life, and yeah, I just sort of stepped away from fishing and left the club on that basis. But 3 or 4 years ago, obviously I got back into the carp fishing scene and things have gone pretty well so far. Without rambling on, I've joined the Clearwater Syndicate, which is basically in the Brentwood area, and this lake is probably about 2 acres max in size, so it's a very small water. However, what it lacks in size, it certainly makes up for in depth. Some of the water in here goes down to 35 foot in depth, and it is really weedy, and it's just a new challenge for me really. I've never fished from a boat before. You're allowed to go out in the boat, find your spots, drop bait onto some of your spots, and even drop your rigs from the boat. So it's a new set of angling skills that I really wanted to put myself to the test at. I've been here for a couple of months now. The first month or so, I just pretty much learnt about the lake. So I've done a lot of laps around the lake in the boat, was having a look at some of the spots that I thought I could potentially fish. In the main body of water out in the middle is where the deep parts reside, but around the edges it's very weedy and it's a lot shallower. I've noticed going out in the boat a load of clearer spots around the edges, and this obviously is where the fish come up, especially during the warmer months, to feed. I've used that to my advantage. What I've been doing recently is putting a lot of bait on a couple of different spots across the lake, so that if someone is fishing in one of the swims, I can actually drop into another one and feel confident fishing on that spot. But there are a couple of spots that I've been fishing recently that have been doing me some mega bites, and yeah, I've just stuck to them for now because people have really been respectful. They haven't jumped on spots that I've been sort of working on. There's only 25 members on this lake, and I've got to say, everybody has been very respectful. A few people know what I've been doing over the last month or so, and they've let me to it. And me too. I've seen other people baiting areas where I haven't gone and fished. I just think that is a really nice thing to do. And yeah, it should be how angling is. Obviously, that sort of thing can't happen on day ticket waters because every Tom, Dick and Harry is visiting the lake to and from. So yeah, you can't expect that sort of thing, but it's great courtesy on a syndicate and something that I've really enjoyed being part of since I joined here. It was actually my mate Adam that introduced me to this lake. He'd joined about 2 months previous and said to me that it was right down my street. After a bit of iffing and ahhing, I said to him, all right, I'll meet the bailiff and I'll go for a walk around the lake. That's exactly what I did, and to be honest with you, as soon as I got here, I fell in love with the place. It is in the middle of nowhere, it is so peaceful, and I get a lot of privacy here during the evenings and stuff, so it's a nice different spin to the Chasing Monsters series that I've been doing. I'm hoping you guys like this journey. I'm probably not going to do as many episodes as I did on the Chasing Monsters day ticket series, but I will keep you guys updated as this journey unfolds. The baiting campaign for me started about a month ago, and as I said, I've been introducing bait on various spots around the lake. I started with hemp and snail as my main approach, just because I wanted the carp to keep visiting those spots and clear them up for me. One particular spot that I've been working on was probably the size of a bin lid when I first started, and I've looked at it this week and it is pretty much half the size of this swim now. So the fish have really been getting down and munching on that spot. So I've got 2 rods out in this swim, and there's actually a little stalking spot about 20 yards down the bank from this swim that I also stick a rod in when I fish number 10, and that is one of the main spots that I've been working on since I've been here. I've had a couple of stunning fish from that stalking spot, but more recently, about 2 weeks ago, I had a lovely common out of this swim, just over 20 pound, and today I had the sexiest looking carp that I think I've ever caught in my life. It went 27 pound, but regardless of weight, it was black as a hat and it was unbelievable. I'm still buzzing about it. I've got 1 night left on this particular session, so I'm hoping that I can nick another one. I'm never too greedy on any fishing session that I do, but the way these fish look, it has just become an addiction of mine, and I want to catch as many of them as I can. Well, how can I start this piece? A week away from the lake, on holiday in Portugal. Came back, managed to get 2 nights in. Last night was really quiet, but this afternoon, the middle rod has absolutely melted off again. Just past the weed. Moments like this you cannot write, mate. You just have to be at the lake, persevering and working hard, and you do eventually get rewarded. I've got another night ahead of me. I'm absolutely buzzing. She went £27, but just look at it. Black as a blur hat. Absolutely buzzing. Joe's here to help me with the photos and that. Thank you, man. Really appreciate it. But I cannot explain to you how much this one means, man. All the hard work, baiting and that paying off. Absolutely pleased. God, sick. Right, I'll quickly show you the other side, then we put this back. And there you go. The other side to another mega carp from Clearwater Syndicate. So pleased I joined this lake. Full fish now in probably about 4 weeks, but this one's so welcome. Let's crack on with the rest of this little session and hopefully have another one. Yeah, bang it. Oh man, what a carp. What a fucking banger. Yes. So yeah, we're here. I've got the last night. I'm going to have a few drinks tonight to celebrate that carp this morning because it was unbelievable. But like I say, just really pleased to be back out. I hope you enjoy this little micro series that I'm going to be doing on the lake. So without further ado, let's crack on and see what the rest of the session brings. Well, I just finished a proper decent curry. Had a bit of a celebration tonight, got myself a takeaway just to celebrate that mega mirror from this afternoon. Since that bite, it's been relatively quiet, but that is quite normal to be fair. I've found since I've started fishing the lake that a lot of the bites come at this sort of time through the night and early morning, and then during the daytime they tend to quieten off a bit, especially whilst it's been hot. I've seen a lot of them cruising on the top, rolling, etc. So yeah, hopefully as this temperature drops, the fish will also drop down onto the bottom, but we shall see. Look at the sunset behind me. So where I'm fishing now, the sun actually rises over there and sets over there, but obviously the light's that side of the lake, hitting these clouds and creating an absolute purple sky evening, which is lovely. Gonna wind down in about an hour or so, probably stick on a bit of Stranger Things. Any Stranger Things fans out there? Let me know in the comments below. But yeah, really pleased to have started this series. Chasing Monsters, the Syndicate. There are some mega monsters in this lake, and I can't wait to hopefully show you some of them. So if anything happens this evening, I will obviously document it. If not, I'll catch up with you in the morning. Sweet. So we've come through to the last morning of this 2-night session. Unfortunately for me, no more action. Last night was mega quiet. I did feel confident going into the evening actually, based on yesterday afternoon's activity, but yeah, nothing to show for my efforts this morning. It's about 10 o'clock now. I'm planning to stay here until about midday, just because I had a bite around that similar time yesterday, so I feel like the weather is very similar as well to yesterday's conditions. So I'm going to hold it out for another few hours, and who knows, something else might happen. The stalking rod down there, quite interesting really. The last 2 sessions that I've had that rod in there, I've not had a bleep, but the previous 2 to that, I nicked 2 fish out of there, so I'm not really sure what's going on. As I said, I've been regularly baiting that spot, so I'm wondering whether I'm just off of it. The problem is, because it's overgrown now, the trees are sort of limiting me from being able to cast right onto the spot. So I'm debating whether to maybe cut the trees back a little bit or potentially use a bait boat next session to get it exactly on the money. Took me 4 or 5 casts yesterday to get it back on that spot, and yeah, I don't really want to disturb it too much because it is a proper discreet little area. But yeah, I'll make a decision over the next few days and decide what to do for the next session. Still mega pleased though, yesterday was unbelievable. I think I'm still on a bit of a buzz really. Probably the best looking fish I've ever caught in my life. But hopefully you've enjoyed this little session. So yeah, stay tuned and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Sweet. What's going on, people? Back down the Syndicate. Got here yesterday afternoon about 11 o'clock. Upon arrival, it was absolutely baking. I think it was about 30 degrees. So yeah, took a couple of hours to settle in and get me rods in the water. Got them all in on the spots at about 2 o'clock. And yeah, the day sort of phased away quite quickly, really. It was very quiet, didn't have a bite through the night. I had a little knock on my margin rod, which is just down there. But other than that, it was very quiet. Came through to the morning today, and yeah, managed to nick another bite about 11:30 off of the spot that hasn't done me any bites for the last few sessions, so really pleased about that. I think one of the reasons why I've been shy of bites on that particular rod is because one of the overhanging trees that I'm fishing past has just come out over the water so much I can't really get my rig on that actual spot that I've been fishing over the last month or so. So what I decided to do was use the Ridge Monkey bait boat to slot it under the bush and put it back on the spot. Had a blistering take. I was actually setting up the GoPro on my other 2 rods behind me to try and get a take on camera. And as I was doing that, yeah, the rod went into complete meltdown, sprinted over there, picked up into the fish, but unfortunately it went straight into a weed bed and weeded me up. I had it on for about 30 minutes. Luckily enough, my mate Leon actually popped over to see me for a couple of hours this morning, and whilst he was here I managed to run over to get the boat and I got out into the lake to actually try and land it, but unfortunately it was just so buried in the weed. I tried to clear a bit of the weed with my hands, and then it took me into another bit of weed, and yeah, unfortunately I lost that one. So yeah, bit gutting, but the good news is that the spot is actually doing fish again. So yeah, really pleased about that. I've got another night ahead of me. The rig's back on the money. I made sure of that. So hopefully I'll get another take on that spot. The other 2 rods have been quiet, but previous weeks they've done me a couple of fish, so I'm confident on those spots as well. It's cooled down a little bit this afternoon. The wind is actually sort of pushing down that way. And yeah, this breeze is very, very welcome because like I say, I've been sweating my off for the last day or so. Anyway, let me quickly show you some of the footage that Leon managed to capture whilst I was out in the boat.
Go on your knees, you might find it easier. Yeah, like that. Daddy's here, boy, look.
What's going on, people? Checking in from the yard. Now, the last week or so has been an absolute ball ache. The laptop decided to die on me. I've had that laptop for the last 4 or so years, but it seems like its life has come to an end. So over the last week I've been building myself a new custom spec PC, and I've managed to get myself a new 4K monitor as well. 32 inches, buzzing about it. The new editing setup is going to be the next level. I'm going to get back over the lake hopefully in the next few days. I know a few fish have been out as well, so yeah, looking forward to get back over there. But unfortunately the last week or so has been very stressful. I'm sweating. It's about 30 degrees today. So yeah, the next time you see me, we'll be on the bank in a couple of days. Take it easy. Well guys, welcome back, and you joined me down at the Syndicate for the first time in, I'd say, 5 or so weeks. Life's been pretty hectic the last few months. I've had a lot of work to get finished, and yeah, spent a good week and a half back at home after my trip to France last month. But yeah, had a fantastic week out there with Leon and Adam. 3 of us out there on a lake exclusive, so I'm really pleased with how that session went. But yeah, you joined me back down here at the Syndicate. I got here about 2 o'clock. I've now managed to get 3 spots that are producing fish for me over here, which is really good. When I first joined, I never thought I'd get it to that point, but I've done a lot of research out in the boat. One thing I did say when I first joined here, that I was going to utilise that, because I've never been able to go out in a boat before. And yeah, managed to find 3 really wicked spots that have all produced fish for me now. So really happy with the results so far. We're like 3 or 4 months into my time on this lake. It's like the end of September, so we're sort of going into the autumn period. So I've been thinking about my autumn-winter tactics over this lake this year, and I think what I'm going to do is find some really nice spots in deeper water. As we all know, the carp sort of move out into the deeper zones when it gets colder. So I'm going to introduce quite a bit of bait across the 3 spots that I'm going to be fishing at in open water over the next few months, and just apply it regularly and see what happens. It worked for me during my spring campaign. I've had 4 so far and lost 2. But yeah, hopefully the form continues on here and I can have a few nice ones across the colder spell. So yeah, just got my rods out, and yeah, looking forward to this session. I managed 2 nights this week, so after getting all of the work that I needed to do done, it's given me a little bit of spare time to get back over it, which I'm really pleased with. Let's see what happens on this session. Well, bit of an update for you this morning. Nothing to report, unfortunately. Last night was relatively quiet. I was quite shocked. There was one other fella on fishing in 2, which is over in the corner there. And yeah, the only real activity that I had myself was a bit of a sketchy liner down on the margin rod. Now, when I went down there, I could see that the line had come out of the clip. And when I turned my head torch on, I could see that the sort of rig had been moved out into open water. And I'm fishing next to a weed bed, so I had a bit of a feeling that I'd been dragged out and done over in the weed. I left it for a good 20 minutes, and as you can imagine, I could not get back to sleep because I was thinking about that rod. So I repositioned it, and I was right. When I reeled it in, it was full of weed. So yeah, unfortunately, I think I got done. But repositioned it nice and accurately. I used the boat to keep it nice and quiet and discreet. It's quite an awkward position to sort of place your rig in the daytime, let alone in the dark. But nothing's happened. So yeah, we're through to the 2nd day. Yeah, hopefully I get a bit of a reward. Oh my days. That was the margin rod. Just had another light. I just literally had another liner on my margin rod. I'm gonna have to go and have a look at that. Well, we got interrupted, but yeah, a bit of a weird sort of liner there on that again. So that's the 2nd time I've had it on that rig. The crazy thing is that I've got about 8 foot of fluorocarbon leader pinned down on that rod. So I'm not sure why I'm getting these savage liners. The only thing I can think of is that a fish might have sort of swum up right in front of the rod tip where the line enters the water and sort of hit the line, but yeah, weird. But yeah, like I was saying, hopefully something happens today. It feels good for it. But yeah, I'll catch up with you later on. Hopefully with a better update. Well, as you can see, I am not happy. I've just lost a fish off my right rod in the main part of the swim. The rod was positioned on that spot last night. I never had a bleep throughout the night. After catching up with you in the bivvy earlier on, I fell asleep for about an hour, hour and a half, and was rudely awoken to an absolute melting take. Jumped out of the bivvy, I nearly had a heart attack, struck into the fish. It instantly peeled line from the spool. I let it do its thing for a bit, obviously tried to keep tension because there's a lot of weeds surrounding the front of this swim. And yeah, it done its thing for a good 5-10 seconds and it stopped taking line. So I've locked the clutch, reeled down into the fish, and the hook's pulled. I cannot believe it, I'm fuming. But in all times of failure, you have to step back up to the challenge. So I'm going to refresh this hook bait, stick another wafter on, and go again. I can't remember the last time I had a hook pull, but it happens, doesn't it? It's part of carp fishing, so yeah, just got to go again. The lead's ejected. I'm using simple rigs, like honestly, these are as simple as can be. Simple blowback rigs, bit of putty up the soft section of coated braid that I'm using, and a nice little wafter arrangement that has done me loads of bites recently, but the hook's still mega sharp. Like, yeah, that is still really sharp, so I don't know what happened, but enough of the moaning. Let's get the rig back out. Well, it's been 5 weeks since I've been over the Syndicate. I managed to steal 2 nights this week. Today, it was quiet up until about 1 o'clock, and then I had a take on my middle rod, which is actually fish from the main part of the swim, and I bloody lost it. So I was wounded this afternoon, but I kept positive, got the rod straight back on the spot. I think that's the 3rd fish I've had off of that spot as well. And yeah, went into this evening with quite a lot of confidence, and we've just nailed this one. It's a 20-pound fully scaled. I weighed it just now. I'm going to show you it. I'm buzzing. I'm absolutely buzzing. This is a lovely fish, this. Oh, wow. The colours on this thing. Oh, yes. See how dark he is? Bro, that is like, look at the colour of him. And there you go, 20 pound of clear water, fully scaled. I'm gassed, I'm buzzing. Look at the colour of this fish. Oh my days. The scale pattern on this is mad. Like I say, just pleased to have had one on this session. Got back from France a couple of weeks ago and had a sick session there, so to continue the run of form is crucial. But yeah, I'll show you the other side of this. We'll get some stills, and then I'll put her back on. Hopefully another one's on the cards. I'm leaving tomorrow. So yeah, all good, in the hood. Bosh, right, spin it round. Well, hopefully it fucking behaves. Good. Yeah, there. And there you go, the other side to an absolutely amazing fish. Just look at the scale pattern on this carp. Oh, just trying not to get me top wet because it's the only one I've got. But yeah, look at the scale pattern on this mega fish. You really don't care about size when they look like this. There are some big ones in this lake, but I'd be happy to catch these, to be fair. Look at it. It's a little bit angry, as are all the carp in this lake. The takes are savage, but we're disturbing their environment. Right, we're going to get a couple of stills and slip this one back. Absolutely buzzing. Okay, right. So there you have it. Another session on the Syndicate done. I'm mega pleased. I caught my first fully ever £20 on the nose. What a carp. I was absolutely buzzing last night. I probably got to sleep about 3:30 just because I couldn't sleep. I just kept thinking about that, kept thinking about potentially having another one, as you do. But yeah, I was really, really pleased that I managed to nail one after losing that one previously. So yeah, let's see what happens on the next session. I've got a holiday coming up in October at the beginning of the month, so I probably won't be over for a good week or so, but I plan to get back over when I return, and that is when the autumn-winter campaign will start. So like I mentioned previously, I'm going to get onto some spots out in the deeper water and hopefully nail a few more carp out there this year. Thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this first instalment of my new Chasing Monsters Syndicate series. I myself am over the moon with it. 5 fish since I started fishing here, so really, really pleased. Hopefully the success continues, and I shall see you in the next video. Sweet. Well, there you go. An absolutely mega dark looking common. Just I'll tell you in a minute. All the carp in this lake, the takes are savage, but we're disturbing their environment. Anyway, oh God, I nearly just got knocked out of the chops.